Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Uchiha here and welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with a new story. The name of this story is What If Naruto Was Neglected but was a real child of prophecy. And yeah guys, it is an unscripted story. Now before continuing this, shout out is due where it is due. Shout out to Jimmy Tais for suggesting this idea. Now before continuing this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to both of my channels. And if you haven't checked it out, I uploaded a movie yesterday on Mayta What If channel as well. You can check it out if you haven't done so, and stay tuned for a story there as well. It will be uploaded shortly after this. Anyways, enough said. Without any further ado, let's begin with our today's story. Our story begins with an 8-year-old boy who was sitting on the outer skirts in a forest. As we see, the said boy was sitting in front of a fire, and a stick was poked near the fire with a fish placed atop on it. The boy was seemingly waiting for the fish to dry out, as he had a sad expression on his face. As now we have a flashback to see a few hours ago in the early morning, once the boy was up from his sleep and went outside to have his breakfast. He ventured across the village, but then he stumbled upon something that he did not thought would ever occur. There in front of him, where a store proudly stood before, was now nothing more than a burned down rubble, as a lot of people were gathered there, laughing at the travesty that has occurred. What is going on here? The boy thought to himself, as now we see a shinobi appeared in front of him. Get out of here, Naruto. He had silver hair and black eyes, while he was wearing a mask to cover his face. Nissan, what is going on? You have to get out of here. It's Tanichi and Ayame-san. Both of them has passed away. They were attacked by some people, and their restaurant is burned down. After hearing this news, the boy's eyes widened as big as dinner plates. They were the only few people who were kind and nice to him, like the man in front of him, but he hid a lot of guilt in his heart. As after that, Naruto saw that the people looked at him and smirked with devious looks on their faces. You have to get out of here, Naruto. Otherwise they will try to do something to you as well. I can't hold them on my own, please. As after that, Naruto turned around and dashed. He was saddened, and as he was running, the eyes of his were filled with tears, making his vision blurred. But he didn't care about that. His heart ached to realize what has transpired. As now we go to the present end of the flashback, where we see the boy sighed once more, as a voice then said to him, "They only died because they were nice to you, boy." Yeah, I know that, but why did they have to die? They knew what they were doing. The whole village hated you, and yet they chose to be kind to you. And that pissed the wrong people off. I still don't understand what they did wrong. They were only kind to me. Was that such a big sin for them to be died like this? To these people who claim that they are the most righteous and justify themselves over the will of fire, they think they are the biggest sinners, said the voice. As Naruto then closed his eyes, as the voice then said, "Come in here, kid, and sit down." As now we see, the boy's eyes opened, and in front of him was a huge bar gate with a kanji of seal written down on a piece of paper in the center part of it. As Naruto ventured inside the barred gates, as two red eyes, with slits in them, looked at him carefully until he laid next to the body of the said being, as a few tails wrapped around him. As the being sighed, looking at the boy with sadness, "It's all because of me," he thought to himself, as now we have a flashback again to see what has transpired. 8 years ago was the night when his previous Jinchuriki Kushina Uzumaki was close to giving birth, as she was going to have twins, and so she did. Kyubi didn't try to break free, even though he was trapped in that wretched place for more than hundreds of years already now. As now we see, time began to pass slowly, as the mother and the father, Minato no Mikaze, the Hokage at the time, were present there, until the tragedy struck, breaking the almost peaceful scene into pieces. As the Kyubi witnessed from within Kushina that she was fearful, he could sense its emotions, the motions of his Jinchuriki, but didn't say or help any what. As now we see, the masked person was able to not only kidnap her, but take her away and free the Biju. But soon as he did, the accursed eyes of the Uchihas were present waiting for it on the outside of the seal. And the Kyuubi's will was lost as he had submitted to the man's eye, and heeding its command descended upon the village known as Hidden in the Village of Leaves. And soon enough the destruction ensued, and when the Biju was brought out of his trance-like state, his eyes widened, and then narrowed again. His pride as the strongest Biju in the whole elemental nation hurt, because he had fallen victim to the same eyes twice. And he was pissed at the Uchiha, but he couldn't do anything, because his previous Jinchuriki was there already, and she had been healed, because turns out the two Sanins, Tsunade Senju and Jiraiya, were there, and they had helped them out, and now he was being sealed, but not only sealed, he was ripped apart into two pieces. The yin and yang that completed one circle was now being split, his personality itself being split, and soon both of the children that were born, his two personalities were sealed within them, and one of them was this boy, Naruto Uzumaki. As shortly after being sealed enough, the Biju was in pain and agony, but he was still awake, as he heard some murmurs and as well as talk that was going on. He couldn't know much because of the pain that he was enduring of being ripped apart into two pieces in two essence, but he realized what was going on. It was something along the lines that his father had mentioned long before even they all existed, when he himself was a child. The child of prophecy. It seems that it was time, he thought to himself. As now we see that Kyuubi listened attentively, that the people, Minato, Kushina, Jiraiya, and Hiruzen alongside with Tsunade talked about the child of prophecy, and then telling that Menma might be the one, because he had more potent side of his. And not only that, the darker side had more chakra as well, because of the Kyuubi's rage. And Naruto was the one who had the rational and the calm side of it. And soon enough, we see Hiruzen was able to stop them from leaving just yet, thinking that they might be making a mistake. But soon after that, they did leave when the boy reached at the age of 2, and Menma was already able to unlock chakra, while Naruto wasn't. He was young at that age, and that is why now, at present, he was not able to remember that, because a lot of people were at play here. There were seals that were placed on him, that had been engraved by Jiraiya himself and his mother to make sure that his memories of them were suppressed. And not only that, he would think of himself as an orphan for the time being. It was a precaution, they said, to make sure that he was safe. Safe from their enemies from outside. But they have forgotten one thing. One dreadful thing. When they revealed who the children were to the whole village. The village detested the Kyuubi. The village hated the Biju for what it has done and taken away from them. Their loved ones, their children, their brother in arms, their people. And to turn their rage into animosity towards their young child who was now left behind to his own devices. That was the mistake that has been made. Not only that, over the course of years, Hiruzen tried to nurture the boy, but due to him being present here, Naruto's senses were heightened. A few gifts from him, it might seem. He could sense when a person was lying, and when a person was hiding the truth from him. And because of that, Naruto's trust on Hiruzen wasn't grown fully, and he didn't believe him fully yet. But only two people in his life who were able to gain his trust fully were Ayame and Tenoichi. They were happy-go-lucky bunch of father and daughter duo, and not only that, they enjoyed Naruto's company. But now that was taken from the boy. Even though he was the rational side of the Kyuubi, he was pissed. As now we go to the present, where we see the boy was still crying himself to sleep. As now we see the Kyuubi looked towards the front of him, as his eyes glowed, and on the other side another Kyuubi's visage appeared. What do you wish for to speak with me? I thought we agreed that we should not talk. My Jinchuriki has been hurt, So what it is, they are at the end of our Jinchuriki, said the dark Kurama. As the light Kurama then said, even if they are, mine one is sensitive, and he has been subjected to greater pain than any other. Even greater than ours? You and I were one being, we were split into two pieces, two essence. Or have you forgotten that? Regardless of that, this child, him and his brother both were innocent. Innocent or not, I have seen that mine is growing great amount of animosity towards me, and not only that, he also thinks that he's greater than the others, since he's being trained by two sages and his parents who are legend in their own right, in their own respective world. Regardless of that, mine is an quite cautious child who has everything ripped away from him, all thanks to the mistake of his parents. So why should we care? Said the dark Kurama to the light one. We never cared about such a thing when we were one. We never cared when we roamed around for thousands of years. How many villages we destroyed? Have you forgotten that? The dark side of Kurama yelled at his light side. I have not, but I am beginning to think of what father has told us. Remember when father told us about the child of prophecy? Remember we heard when they were conversing when they were born? Of course I did. I was there as well alongside you. But I don't think that this child will hold a candle to the prophecy child that our father mentioned, even if it is your Jinchuriki. Only time will tell, said light Kurama, as he then said, and all I need from that is your help, because I have taken it upon myself to train the boy. After all, it was our father who left to train the child of prophecy to be a huge part in his life to us. As the dark Kurama's eyes narrowed, fine, do as you wish, but remember, if the boy turns arrogant, if he is not who he seems fit, I know I will be the one to put an end to him and make sure my friend sleeps peacefully. As darker Kurama looked towards the light one and said, beware of the humans. They have betrayed our trust multiple times. And then he too was gone. As now we see, Naruto's eyes opened again. His fish was already burnt. Forgotten was the painful memory of what has transpired in the morning. As now we see, Naruto seated there. Ne, Kurama. As the Biju then responded, what is it, boy? Do you think that I should leave from here? As the QB was quite shocked when the boy said this. Why do you think, my boy? Think about it. The village hates me. And not only that, they only took away the people that cared about me and were honest to me and nice to me. I know. But where will you go? The world out there may be vast and filled with adventure, but it also has its sets of danger. Remember that you're just a boy who doesn't even have the strength to possess to travel, let alone the means. As Naruto then said, I will find a way. I don't know how, but I will. But please, tell me, should I? Because I know you will be there with me, wouldn't you? Of course I will be, my boy. I will be always there with you whenever you travel. Wherever you go, I will follow you, Naruto. Just follow your heart. As Naruto was about to leave, unbeknownst to that one person was listening into his conversation. A person with red eyes. The same eyes that QB detested. As now we see, the man with scars on both sides of his face then said, maybe I can help one other person aside from my brother in this situation. As Naruto was returning back, after strolling in the forest for a bit longer at night time, since the sun has set and the moon was on the rise again, we see that the Anbus and Shinobis were rushing towards the other side, towards the clan compounds, where many clan heads resided alongside with their clans. As suddenly, a shinobi stopped near him. It was one with dark hair, wearing an Anbu gear from the looks of it that was painted in red. As his red eyes bore into him, come with me, he said, in a cold and monotone voice. What? Said Naruto, as his heart was grasped with fear, because he had already known the animosity of people of Konoha towards him. He didn't want anyone rat to be incurred right now, since as Kurama had said, He was just a child who wasn't trained properly. I know you wish to leave, Naruto. I've heard you speak to the Kyuubi in the forest. As Naruto's heart almost stopped, as the world almost stopped to him. He couldn't even hear his own heart beating. It was so still. Calm down, Naruto. As Naruto's eyes widened, bringing him out of his stupor and of his fear. But it's fine. I know that sometimes you must confront your demons. And sometimes it is our own demons that comfort us instead of the people that we love and know. As the man said this sagely while looking down, as then he looked towards Naruto. I know you wish to leave. I am also leaving. But unlike you, I have done a bad deed here. What? Yes, Naruto. I've heard that you were also aiming to leave from this village. I will help you. I will guide you outside to a nearby village. From there you can travel on your own. You're not a shinobi of this village, so you don't have to be bound by it. But Hiruzen-sama said, Hiruzen-sama lied to you. He lied because of the laws. As Naruto looked down with a frown, he realized that Hiruzen wasn't telling him the truth completely, but he did not know that he was also bending the laws as well. As now we see, Naruto then said, Alright, I will go with you. As Kurama then said, he has the eyes of the Uchiha, but I can see through them crystal clear. This boy has a heavy burden in his heart, Naruto, and he is not lying to you. I can sense that. As now we see, Naruto and the red-eyed man then appeared into a nearby village after hours of traveling. This is where we must part, Naruto. Here, this is a bunch of money that I was able to gather when I was in my clan compound. You can take this and begin your travel from here on out. But remember, once you set a foot and mind to it, never look back. Follow your heart. You will be able to achieve what you are searching for, my boy. Wait, what is your name? Itachi. Itachi Uchiha, said the man, turning back with a smile on his face before he disappeared in a sunshine, leaving Naruto with a pouch that he opened to reveal a lot of Ryus inside, along with coins. As Naruto's eyes widened, who knew that the Uchihas had a kind soul amongst them? A heavy-hearted and a burden-filled soul, but yet a kind one at that. As now we see, back in Konoha, the commotion was on the rise. The whole Uchiha clan has been wiped out except for one Sasuke Uchiha, the youngest heir. It turns out the oldest heir's body has been not recovered, and he was still missing. And only thing they could do was to allow Sasuke to wake. And once he did, after a few weeks later of the incident, he revealed it was Itachi behind the attack. That shocked to the core the whole Anbu squadron as well as the shinobi roster of the village. Why? Because Itachi was the generational genius of their class. And not only that, he was the youngest amongst the youngest to rise to the rank of the Anbus, even younger than Kakashi Hatake. As now we see, that is when the meeting was adjourned, because they had discussed in that meeting that they would halt all the generational prodigies or the prodigies to ever appear, and they had to, like other any children, pass the academy exams. As now we see, that is when Hatake Kakashi arrived inside the office. Hokage-sama, he said, his voice filled with worry. What is it, Kakashi? Everything is fine. Naruto is not at home. He's missing. I have been searching for him everywhere for the past few days. I haven't been able to find him. He'll be near the forest, said Hiruzen dismissively. After all, that is where the boy tends to go whenever he feels like it. And after what happened to Ayame and Tennichi, I doubt that he will be eating in the village again. For quite a while now. No, I searched the forest already, even brought some Inuzukas with me. They say that Naruto's scent was masked, and they couldn't find him. As that is when Hiruzen's eyes widened. Oh no. Anbus! As he yelled out, as many people from the shadows that were nothing more than shadows once more then appeared. I want you all to go and search for the boy. Bring him unharmed here, he said, releasing huge amount of killer intent on the people, making his words sound like a final tone. As after that, many began to search, and a few weeks later, still no sign or clue of Naruto was found. As back in the Hokage office, Hiruzen was pacing back and forth, waiting for a good news, but no good news of such came, or even the bad one. At this point, he was hoping for any sort of news to make conclusion of Naruto's missing story, but nothing was able to come to his mind. As now we see, Kakashi then arrived. Hirozen-sama, what are we gonna do? There's only one thing left to do. I have to send a letter to them. Then this way, maybe, Jiraiya and the spy network will be able to find him if he is somewhere out there. As on the other side, with Minato and Kushina, they were training their child and they have realized that Menma, even at such an age, once he showed great strength, had failed completely. He was not able to do and grasp basic taijutsu katas, and not even that, he wasn't even able to farm and learn the Rasengan, and he has been learning that for a few years now. Whenever they tried to tap into the Kyuubi's chakra, they would be the ones wounded up hurt, because they had to seal away the Biju's chakra once more because their son will lose control of himself over and over again. As now we see, once the letter appeared in Jiraiya's hand, he halted what he was doing as the others realized that Jiraiya's expression was serious. As he rubbed the temples, Sensei, is everything fine? Asked Minato. Come on, Jiraiya, stop with the theoretics. We want to know what has transpired that has gotten you in the stitches. Naruto has been taken from the village or defected the village, we do not know. And the Uchiha has been massacred by Itachi Uchiha. As everyone's eyes widen. Wait, you mean my brother? Said Menma. Yes. What are we gonna do, Minato? We have to train Menma now. We will find him once the time is right. But Minato, Naruto is nowhere to be found. Sensei and Inuzukas have searched high and low for him, and Sensei is requesting me that I alert my spy network to search for him. Then please do so, Sensei. We must find him. As this was going on, we see that back in Sunagakure, Naruto had arrived at the village and was allowed to let in since he was a passerby. After making a visiting card at the front gate and paying the money, he was allowed inside. And as soon as he entered, he met with a lot of people. Some of them had smiles on their faces while the others didn't. And once he arrived at the center part where there was a play area in the center, and it was surrounded by a huge market which was filled with shops to brim, with civilians and shinobis alike, and then was the homes that were surrounding in which people lived in the village. The whole layout was quite simple and pleasant to see in all this sand, as that is when he noticed that a red-haired boy with black eyes appeared there, with no eyebrows, and immediately the whole place was emptied. Everyone began to run for their lives. Run away, kid! The monster has appeared, said one of the merchants while running away, looking towards Naruto. As he raised an eyebrow, I can sense one tales within him. His name is Shikaku Naruto, said Kurama. Are you sure, Kurama? Yes. As he witnessed the boy's expression to turn into sadness, even if it didn't show because of his cold posture, there was sadness within him. As the boy sat down there, as soon as he did, Naruto appeared in front of him. What is it you want? Said the boy in a cold tone. I wish to speak to you. And your friend. Why would you wish to speak with my mother? Said the boy in a cold tone again. Let's just say a friend of mine wishes to speak. As Kurama then said, bring your fist forward and tell him to connect his fist, Naruto. And so Naruto did. As soon as Gaara connected his fist with a little bit of suspicions, both of them were standing in front of two monsters standing behind them. As Naruto had a huge nine-tailed fox behind him, while Gaara turned and found a huge sand monster with one tail behind him. What do you want, you stupid fox? Shikaku, it's been a long time, my brother. Wait, what is wrong with you? As that is when Shikaku looked narrowly towards Kurama's eyes. You're only half of him. What happened to the rest? My darker side and my good side have been split into two consciousness. The boy's brother is holding on to my other side. So the mighty nine tails have been split into two parts, said the one tails as he scoffed. Of course I have been. But I am here to meet you and ask you why you have been tormenting the boy. Why shouldn't I? The one tail sneered. These people have done nothing to gain my favor. If anything, they have only brought pain to me and my Jinchurikis. And this boy in particular. This boy. His father has done wrong a lot by me. What makes you think that I will be nice to him? My only friend, a monk from this village, was killed because of his father, and he couldn't do anything. Look, I know what has transpired, but that doesn't mean that this child has any fault. You know that more than anyone, Shikaku. I don't need to listen to your theoretics. If you're here to tell me to step down, then I won't. For father's sake, please, Shikaku. I am only talking to you rationally. The child has done nothing wrong to you. If anything, his father has. Or have you forgotten that? No, I haven't. And I never will. Then please let the child live his normal life. He's already exhausted, weakened, and will die if you won't allow him to sleep. Fine. I will listen to you just because you pulled out the father card. As after that we see Naruto and Gaara became friends as everyone began to get annoyed by this, especially the council of Suna, and soon they attacked as Naruto, with the help of Kurama, was able to tap into, for the first time, into his chakra and Kurama's chakra, engulfed into golden light as a huge golden nine-tailed fox erupted, and so could be said for Gaara, as a sandy shade, one-tailed erupted there, as everyone halted. One Biju was already enough, but dealing with two, and one of the strongest one at that, it was the end, as Naruto, in a booming tone, then said, "If you mess with my brother, you mess with me. And I am warning you, Rasano Sabuko. You and your council who have threatened him will suffer greatly, because we are pissed." And with that, everyone fall back, as did Rasa, and allowed the boys to continue living. As Naruto stayed there for a few months, and his aim was to leave, but that changed when the boy's siblings came near him, and then they began to grow closer to him. And surely enough, Rasa lost all of his children, as they now were a group of four who, even though orchestrized by the people, were now closer to one another. While back at Konoha, the situation wasn't any good, and neither with Jiraiya and Minato guys, because Menma wasn't learning anything, and he wasn't ready yet to be returned. And soon years began to pass by, and the group reached at the age of 13. The team was created in which Sabuku's siblings and Naruto was placed, as their sensei was Baki. And soon enough, they were sent to, by the orders of their Kazekage Rasa, to the land of fire, where they would go to Konoha to participate in the Chunin exams. It was a plan disguised in the form of attack, and as soon as the attack began, after the final part of the Chunin exam began, this time Akatsuki was also present there, because Orochimaru was able to not only convince them to join an attack, but also help them out. While Jiraiya and Tsunade were busy dealing with the Orochimaru and his, well, compliances, we see that the first and the second Hokage, who were revived in the form of Erotensei, were dealing with Hiruzen and Minato, and they were losing badly. Konoha was losing badly, and not only that, a lot of people died that day because two Bijus and a lot of armies were fighting against them. And in the end, Akatsuki was able to not only take Menma away from them, but also cause a lot of destruction using the almighty push of the Rinnegan user. As soon enough, once the Suna returned and retreat back after defeating and destroying Konoha to that extent, we see that it was revealed that Rasa was Orochimaru, and now it was up to them to choose the new Kazekage. At the time, Baki was placed here, and as time continued on, Gaara began to win the favor of the people, and people began to see that he and Naruto had created a lot of change. And soon enough, Gaara became the Kazekage, and Naruto, he became his Shadow Kage, and became a permanent part of the village by now. As Temari, who had grown affections for the boy, also confessed, and Naruto accepted her feelings. But the story doesn't end here. As now we see, when everything seemingly looked like it was going normal and happy, the Akatsuki were plotting already, because they wanted the other half of the Kyuubi and the first tail to begin with their plans. So they decided to attack, and once they did, Naruto, Kurama, as well as Gaara and Shikaku, who were last with the information of all of the thousands of years that they have walked amongst the shinobi world, gave it to the boys, and they have learned the power of Ninshu, the true power that even trampled that of a Rinnegan user of ninjutsu user. And so the Akatsuki were defeated. Only two members were able to escape, one Zetsu and the other being Obito. As soon as they escaped, their plan had foiled, and they have taken a huge hit. Now, It was evident that Suna was the one at the strongest of the food chain, while Konoha, it was rebuilding itself. Its funds were cut off greatly because a huge amount of Land of Fire clients have turned towards Suna. And not only that, the village was not even rebuilt completely. Minato and Kushina detested the idea that Naruto was amongst them who attacked the village, and for that the village hated them, but they knew that the boy held great animosity towards them to attack them, because they were the ones who did so at the order of the Hokage, and now he reveals to them that the boy was their child. They could have done a lot better by the side of boy if they knew only that. They cursed Hiruzen, some of them even so much so that they went and pissed at his grave. The defiling of the Hokage remains was the biggest punishment one could receive, but they didn't care. They were already living in hell because of these people. As now we see, at that time, Kamamaru arrived to Jiraiya and revealed something more sinister to him that even broke their will further onwards. It was revealed that the prophecy has changed and Suna will be the one instead of the fire now to conquer the world and to rule supreme and bring the peace to it. Because the child of prophecy enjoined them. It turns out it was Naruto, not Menma, who was the child of prophecy. As on the other side, now we see Naruto back with Naruto, as Gaara had received a letter from Konoha demanding Naruto to head back, but Naruto was never a part of it. So Suna threatened them with war, something that Konoha couldn't afford. And once the letter reached Daimyo's ears as well, because Naruto told him to send, Daimyo cut off complete connections to Konoha because they were pissed at Konoha for what they were trying to do behind their back. Cause a rift and powerful force to attack them? No, no thank you. Their downfall had begun because of Konoha's arrogance. There was nothing the Land of Fire Daimyo or the Land of Fire could do to help them survive this one. The other villages took it upon themselves to bully Konoha, and so they did. Even Iwa was the one who was doing this and feeling much more pleasure into it. But as time passed, we see that Konoha was begging now, begging for mercy. But Naruto, he had no attachment to that people or that place, so he never listened or heeded. While on the other side, he worked with the other villages to combine their strength and formulate a single one unit that would be strong enough. And the only two members of Akatsuki, when declared war on them arrogantly, the four combining nations attacked and destroyed them. Even after that, Konoha wasn't welcome there, still orchestrated, all because of their hatred towards one Jinchuriki who has brought peace to the whole elemental nation. Even in the end, when the peace was preserved, Naruto was married to Temari, and Gaara was the Kazekage. We see that Konoha was slowly fading away, while the others were flourishing, and none more than Suna, all because of the arrogance of Konoha. As this is where I'm going to be leaving the story off, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and follow me on my Polo Uchiha channel, Mayta What If channel as well if you haven't done so. And without any further ado, let's end the video here, as this is a Polo Uchiha, and I'm signing off for the day. Peace.